So, like I said, we've had a lot to take away from fall camp so far. Every day has been something new. You got a lot of guys stepping up. I want to go back to Chris Hilton because you get so much talk about your new guys, but Hilton is one of the most physically impressive guys on the team. Bruce Feldman of The Athletic, every year he comes out with his freaks list, and he goes all over the country finding players with the freakiest athleticism, stuff that you don't see, that you shouldn't see, but these guys are just so blessed to have crazy talent. And LSU actually had two guys on this list this year. Dominic McKinley was one of them, but Chris Hilton, he has the fastest recorded GPS in LSU history at, let's see, 23.7 miles per hour on the GPS. He's been timed in the 4.2s. He gets deep as easily as anybody since Brian Thomas. You can't say that he's the complete receiver that Thomas is yet, but as far as getting deep, it's effortless with Hilton. It's a different offense. You saw that late last year. It's a different offense with him in the game because he gets behind the defense so easily. So we don't want to throw guys away when they get hurt. Just wanted to point that out. And not only for Hilton's sake, but just to reestablish the fact that this is going to be a different offense. With Hilton out last year, you weren't in a position a lot of times to really threaten the defense. You had defenses coming up, and they know they could get pressure because LSU wasn't going to run the ball. So you didn't have that deep threat. You had fast guys like Anderson and Thomas, but that deep threat that strikes fear, like a Hilton or a Brian Thomas. So it's going to be a lot easier for Nussmeier. You got that deep threat that opens up everything underneath, but it also makes it easier for your running game when you got a guy that can stretch the field like that. So, okay, we talked about fall camp, but we also had a pretty big recruiting weekend, big-time recruiting weekend. You had 2 defensive line commitments in 2 days, and it started with Darius McKinley. Darius McKinley is a guy out of Acadiana High School. Of course, the younger brother of Dominic McKinley, who was currently at LSU. Just 1 second, gonna pull up his film. And McKinley can ball. McKinley can ball in his own right. Yeah, he's the younger brother of Dominic McKinley, but this isn't like a legacy type deal. This isn't something to keep Dominic happy. He can play in his own right. See him here against Ruston, one of the best programs in the state. They can't block him. You'll see other film against Zachary. They're trying to double team him. He just takes the double team and moves him where he wants to move him. Look at he's dominant. He plays at 6'1", 270. No, 6'3", 270, but he looks bigger than that on the field by the way he plays. He plays bigger than that because he's so strong. He imposes his will. He's not the twitchiest guy, but he just imposes his will at the line of scrimmage. He resets the line of scrimmage. You definitely need guys like that at D-tackle. 3-star guy, but don't get caught up in the stars. This is a guy who chose LSU over Florida, Texas, with 2 of his finalists. But you name it, they offered him. Texas A&M, Tennessee. So his offer sheet says all you need to know about his level of talent. McKinley, he'll probably have another big year, and you can probably see that rating go up. And to me, it doesn't really matter if that ranking goes up or not because he can play, and that's what's most important in recruiting. Stars are great, but you got a guy that can play. Your second commitment of the weekend came in Deuce Gerald's. Gerald's he was a more highly recruited guy, 4-star guy. ESPN had him as the second-rated D tackle in the country. Gerald's is a freak. You know, we just talked about McKinley and Hilton, but Gerald's is an absolute freak. You see him at 6'1", 275, and yeah, that's him playing running back. You see him getting to the edge and playing running back, outrunning people. He's not playing running back to where you give it to the big guy and he falls forward for the first down. No, this guy is getting up the field. He's taking wildcat snaps. He's taking direct snaps, reading blocks, and getting up the field like a true running back. On the line, he'll play some inside, some out. He'll be an inside guy for LSU at D tackle. But he has defensive end traits to where he can bend. He's got that explosiveness off the line, but he gets by you, he dips his shoulder, he can bend and get to the quarterback on balance, under control. Very explosive first step. This guy is a freak, and I guess the apple didn't fall far. Interesting recruiting note with Gerald's. Gerald's dad is from Baton Rouge. He's from Scotlandville, played at Scotlandville High. Got recruited by Coach O, and Frank Wilson was his primary recruiter when Coach O was at Ole Miss. So Frank Wilson got Gerald's dad to Ole Miss, and now he comes in and he gets the son to LSU. So Gerald's is going to be a difference maker. He'll be ready to play. He just got a different type of athleticism at the position. And we spoke earlier about the importance of depth at that position, bringing guys in fresh. LSU, you got to give the staff credit for what they've done in building the depth back at that position. Past couple of years, it's been a bit of a question mark. Ever since Mason Smith left, you kind of put him in a bind, and nothing against Smith. He had to do what he had to do. He got drafted second round, so he made the right call. But the team itself struggled. You had to play some guys who weren't ready, and that's not a position where you can afford to just have serviceable guys. You got to have difference makers, and the Tigers are well on their way to having that dominant interior defensive line again. So now that's 4 guys in this class, and for the 26th class, LSU's defensive line is the best by far. It's not even close. You got the 2 that we just talked about. And you also have Lamar Brown out of U-High, number 1 athlete or number 1 D tackle, depending on the recruiting service. Either way, this is an elite guy, unquestioned best player in the state. And you also have Richard Anderson, who's ranked there as the number 1 or 2 D tackle, depending on which site you want to go by. Richard Anderson out of Carr. They're absolutely loading up. And this is after a DT heavy class in 25. So you're stacking these classes back to back. You're getting that depth that you need to return to the days where LSU has a feared defense, not a good enough defense, but a defense that is going to put first rounders in the league from that defensive line. First team all SEC guys, not just guys. You can't get by with just guys. And we can't leave out the edge players also. You got guys like DeAnthony Lafayette at edge out of Florida that's also in this class. 5-star Trenton Henderson at edge that's also in this class. So the more you stack these classes, the easier it's going to be for Blake Baker to return LSU to the glory days. So on that note, please like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, CFB Follow me on TikTok, CFB like, subscribe, comment, like it again. Till next time, I'll see y'all. It's the LSU Live on the Voice of College Football. Later.